New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Friday evening. It's 5 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, and that means it is time for the good news. The opportunity we like to take here every week to take a look at the good news stories that are happening in our world and reminding all of us that we really are creating a world that works for all. Big, huge shout out to Dr. Barbara Jean last week, Reverend Barbara Jean, for sitting in last week, and Reverend Michael Mangus for sitting in the week before that. Seems like it's been forever since I've been with you folks. So again, thank you all for your patience and your support as I've been out doing the good work of New Thought Media Network, and some of our other folks have been hosting recently. I'm back for a couple weeks, and we get to see Reverend Barbara Jean again in the near future. All right, let's get into it tonight. First up, good news coming out of the state of Oregon. Oregon's got a new family program called Family Connects. It's based off of a program that's already been tested in Durham, North Carolina. And so Oregon has become the first state that is offering free nurse visits to new families, whether it's a mother's first child or fifth child, doesn't matter. They get 3 free visits in the first month to help the family adjust to having a new child in the household. Family Connect is an opt-in program that comes at no cost to the family. The nurse is empowered to connect the family with any additional services they may need, whether that's counseling, psychiatric care, financial assistance, perhaps even a hearing aid for a grandparent who's caregiving the child. State Senator Dr. Elizabeth Steiner is the champion of the program. She's a family physician. Now, she wasn't in charge of creating it or setting policy, but advocated for it with the state government. She remembers developing severe postpartum depression after the birth of her daughter, and thought that if one of the Family Connect nurses had visited her, would have been a tremendous help. Now, programs early data witnessed a reduction. The Durham program, the early data there witnessed a reduction in child protective services interventions and investigations among families who had nurses visit them during the first few weeks of a child's life. Dr. Steiner is quoted as saying, "Babies are hard, and that's why we need this." I've been there, folks. I know many of you have as well. Babies can be hard, and now we're getting more and more resources to help us adjust. Mental health, top of the charts for everyone out there. Hey, I want to thank you for being here with me this evening, dear friend Peter Bertels. Glad you're with us. Anyone else watching live, feel free to chat along, chime along, share your comments as we go tonight. Now, many of you know we do get most of our stories over at the goodnewsnetwork.org. Be sure to check in with those folks, give them some of the love and attention they deserve. Do a great job of curating stories that we can then pick and choose from. And one of the ones that really struck me today is all about, we're going to go all the way over to China now, and we're talking about sponge cities. Now, this is the brainchild of a Chinese landscape artist, Mr. Yu Kongjian. I think I'm saying that kind of close. My apologies if I'm not, sir. He has been working through his architecture firm, Turinscape, and has created hundreds of projects in dozens of cities using native plants, dirt, and clever planning to absorb excess rainwater and channel it away from densely populated areas. The two cities you're looking at here are both in China, through his architecture, Mr. Yu says that there's a misconception that if we can build a flood wall higher and higher, or if we build the dams higher and stronger, we can protect a city from flooding. We believe that we can control the water in a much different way. He does often build these sponge cities on top of polluted or abandoned areas. And so there is a little bit of reclamation here. One of the reasons that Yu likes these ideas over grand infrastructure projects is that they're flexible and can be deployed as needed to specific areas, and therefore creating a web of rain sponges. If a large drainage, dam, seawall, or canal is built in the wrong place, it can be a huge waste of time and money. Last year, the Cultural Landscape Foundation awarded Yu a $100,000 Oberlin Prize for elevating the role of design in the process of creating nature-based solutions for the public's enjoyment and benefit. These become parks and they become destinations. And I love that idea, no matter where it might come from. Hey, here's another really interesting story that I just have to share. The Buddhist nation of Nepal and a drone manufacturer in majority Buddhist China signed an agreement to supply Mount Everest's Buddhist authorities with heavy lift drones that is going to help clean trash off of Everest's holy slopes. This has been a big story for the last number of years and has been gaining more and more attention. Dealing with the trash on the world's highest mountain is a complex and multifaceted operation, but the drones, which will be piloted by the same Sherpa porters who've been clearing trash on foot, will allow them to work in the more dangerous areas without risk to their lives. The drones are being provided by DJI, the largest drone manufacturer in China, and they did sign a memorandum of understanding between the rural municipality where Everest is located and the Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee in cleaning. Now, we've mentioned SPCC on this program before in other stories about the cleanup of at Mount Everest. The things are going well. There's less oxygen bottles. A number of bodies have been brought down. But this really does look that they may be able to do a lot more work and more importantly, not have to traverse the ice falls where there is the most danger of risking life on Mount Everest. It's not always getting to the top that's the dangerous part. Yes, coming back down is very dangerous, but the ice falls are by far one of the most. So good news here happening for Mount Everest and the future of a holy mountain. Hey, here's another one. Now, this comes to me as part of the, wow, why didn't we think of this much earlier? I want to introduce you to a Ukrainian company that is Relief Paper. Whoop, forgot to change my slide there. There we go. Here's Relief Paper. Relief Paper takes dead leaves from city trees and turns them into paper for bags, office supplies, and more. They're striving to close a heck of a paper loop. Currently, over 6 billion trees are cut down annually for paper products. That's according to the WWF. That's for everything from our toilet paper to our shipping boxes, the novels we read. Meanwhile, the average city produces 800 metric tons of leaves every year. The leaves go forth to clog gutters and sewers. and have to be either collected, composted, burned, or dumped in landfills. Here in my city, we have a huge pile of leaves out on the western edge from the annual leaf gathering. Now, what's happened here is Relief Paper is creating partnerships across all of Europe, and they already produced 3 million paper carrier bags from over 500 metric tons of leaves, and that's just in their headquarters city of Paris. They're joining forces with landscapers in sites across Europe. Thousands of tons of leaves have arrived at their facility, where they use a low water, zero sulfur chloride production process. Company says that allows them to make paper with a much smaller water and carbon footprint. This sounds like a great idea for small and mid-sized cities to have their own, and of course larger cities, to have their own paper mill and be producing paper for their city. Love the idea. How about you folks? Share in the comments. Let us know what you think. Are these the kind of good news stories you'd like to know more about? And hey, if you've got a good news story you'd like to share with us, by all means, send us an email, goodnews@ntmedia.org. Perhaps you'd like to come on the air and share your good news story with us. We'd love to talk to you about that as well. The more the merrier, the more fun we have. The more people we have, the more fun we have. Speaking of fun, I'm going to take a quick moment to take a sip of water and let you know a little bit more about some of the sponsors and organizations that help make this all possible. But please don't go away. We got a whole bunch more good news coming up in just a minute. Stay tuned.
The New Thought Men's community proudly presents New Thought Men's Summit, Foundations, an online conference, September 22nd through 27th. Register today at www.newthoughtmens.community, featuring 22 New Thought speakers, ministers, and visionaries, sharing their wisdom of modern spiritual masculinity. New Thought Men's community, empowering wholeness, centered in spiritual living.
And we're back with more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Dr. Robert. It's Friday night. I'm glad you're with us. Share some of the good news stories we've found. Take those into the weekend and inspire your friends. Remind your folks around you, we really are creating a world that works for all. Now, our next story up today captures the imagination, mostly because my kids were old enough to watch Monsters, Inc., and so we are. Those kids have grown up. Those kids that grew up with Monsters, Inc. have grown up. Now, if you don't remember the premise of the movie, two monsters, they power all the monsters. They power their city from the screams of little kids. Those are the kids they scare from coming out of the closet or from under the bed. Well, a high school senior in Lake Charles, Louisiana, has taken that to heart. Geogin Lily Min was inspired by the movie to think of what could happen in a sports arena. This imaginative concept sparked my curiosity, she said, about the potential of converting sound into usable energy. I began to wonder if in reality we could harness the abundant noise in environments like sports arenas and use it to generate electricity. Now, the concept involves the piezoelectric effect, I think I'm saying that properly, which allows certain mechanisms to generate electricity in response to applied pressure. Now, this principle has been applied before to use electricity from generating roads and was recently utilized to design an internal cochlear implant. In 2021, another young engineer, Jeremiah Thornock, was honored by a Global Student Prize for a piezoelectric machine that delivered electricity to homes by absorbing kinetic energy from vehicles passing over roadways outside. The device powered 150 small homes and does not rely on changing weather patterns, needs no battery or external power function. Lily Mann had another idea, which was rather than absorbing the direct kinetic energy that was applied from a footstep or the movement of a car, she could arrange a series of harvester models that would absorb the kinetic forces from sound waves. Tested her theory, and she created a scale model of a sports arena. Unfortunately, the measurement was small and did not seem to be scalable. However, she's going back to the drawing board and believes that with more testing and some tweaking, she'd be able to create some watts rather than the milliwatts she was able to create with her first model. This is a great idea, folks. I love it. Think about it. The louder you cheer, the brighter the lights are. And if your team's not doing so good, well, maybe the lights just go out. You never know. Hey, here's another story about high school science. And I really like this as well. A pair of teens have invented a device that removes microplastics using ultrasound waves and winning $50,000 in the process to continue their research. They've invented a unique water filtration device that uses a wall of sound to hold back microplastic particles from running water. So in lab tests, the acoustic force from the high frequency sound waves removed 84 to 94% of the suspended microplastic particles in a single pass. And they're using the reward money from their prize to attempt to scale up their invention. If you haven't heard yet, folks, microplastics are everywhere. They've been located in the organs of test mice. This is a global concern, and it's a monumental challenge to address this. However, high schoolers Justin Huang and Victoria Wu of Woodlands, Texas, may have found exactly what's necessary to do this. So again, using ultrasonic sound waves, that move freely through the water, they've managed to capture as much as 94% of microplastic contaminants, basically by pushing the contaminants away from the outflow point of the water. Now, the device is no bigger than a pen. It does need quite a bit of work and quite a bit of study before it would be available on the open market. Good work, though. The team is well on their way to making this a reality. And if you can't wait, well, our next story addresses that quite simply as well. It turns out that simply by boiling your water, you may be able to remove anywhere from 25 to 90% of all the microplastics that are in the water. Now, this is coming out of a university test in Europe. They tested two types of water, hard tap and soft tap water. Here in the U.S. and in most places, there's more hard tap water than soft tap water. The hard has more minerals, particularly calcium carbonate or lime scale. And what the study is finding is that the harder the water, the more it traps the microplastics in the lime scale layer when boiling your water. Now, their study authors are saying the simple boiling water strategy can decontaminate from household tap water and has the potential for harmlessly alleviating human intake of microplastics. Even in soft water, where less calcium carbonate is dissolved, roughly a quarter of the plastic was snagged from the water as well. Our results have ratified a highly feasible strategy to reduce harm to human NMP exposure and establish the foundation for further investigation with a much larger number of samples. As that happens, folks, and we hear about it, we'll be sure to bring you that news and all the good news stories we find throughout the week. We're going to take another quick break, say hello, and thank you to our organizational sponsors and individual donors. We do trust you'll stay with us because we've got one more segment, including our heroes of the week. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back after these messages. Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. Yes. Thank you to all of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. It's thanks to your financial contribution that we're able to share these good news messages out into the world and share all of our regular programming throughout the week. Thanks again for being a part of the New Thought Media Network family. If you'd like to learn more, head on over to our website, ntmedia.org. That's ntmedia.org. Click on that donate button. Make it a monthly donation, and we'll include your name in the next version of our thank you video. All right, let's get back into it. More good news here tonight because we still got the hero of the week. And wait till you hear what we've got in store for you with that. However, folks, before I want to get into a story, because not being here the last few weeks, I haven't done any Olympic stories. And this one really just warmed my heart. If you haven't heard yet, the U.S. women's gymnastics team, which has been in the news over the last couple of years with Simone Biles' withdrawal from the 2020 Tokyo Olympics for mental health concerns, has shown that the team has taken steps towards expanding their mental health concern and supporting their own mental health. I want to introduce you to Beacon. Beacon is a golden retriever that has been trained specifically to act as an emotional support animal and does so for many various teams. However, the U.S. Olympic team, women's gymnastics team, has taken a real liking to Beacon, and Beacon has been doing a great job. This is just a great story. They share that other teams from other nations have taken a liking to Beacon and wish that they were able to keep Beacon on their sidelines. The dog is specifically trained to recognize who needs the most support and go to that gymnast first and help that and support that athlete. If the athlete is ready and wants it, then there's a whole lot of petting and a whole lot of loving that's going on. You can just see it. in Beacon's eyes. Thank you, Beacon, for being a great part of the U.S. women's support this past year. Hey, here's one. A gentleman from Australia traveled up to Canada to take his kayak cross country. He had a cross country trip on Canada's creeks and rivers, and along the way, well, he ran into a 14-year-old Great Pyrenees named Ivy. Ivy had been trapped under a log, had been washed away in a storm. Now, Ivy was actually only a quarter of a mile from her owner's property, and the owner had been working feverishly searching for her, but for whatever reason could not hear Ivy's cries from the riverbed. Luckily, our Kiwi kayaker was able to hear her. Tom Hudson is his name. Tom was able to hear her, found a way to support her and get her out from underneath the log, put her on his boat, which was a very first for Ivy. She wasn't too sure about how that was all going to happen, but it all did work out. They made it to shore and made it to another farmer's home who happened to know the dog. And was surprised to find a man covered head to toe in mud with his neighbor's dog. A good story, as all are safe and well. Thank you, sir, for being such a great, doing great work out there. All right, hey, folks, we promise you every week the hero of the week. And this week, well, there was no question, hands down for me. And, of course, when you know it, we found two. So let's do our first hero of the week. In a heart-stopping event in Texas, a heroic 12-year-old boy, Dwight Winbush, saved his mother's life after she became trapped in a sinking car. Juanita Winbush, 39, suffered a seizure while driving. The car plunged into a nearby body of water with both her children, Dwight and Bria Asia, age 16, were inside. As the car quickly began to submerge, Dwight and his sister managed to escape, and Dwight was able to flag down a West Orange police officer, Charles Cobb, who just happened to be nearby. The police body cam footage captured Dwight's desperate pleas for help. Officer Cobb, along with several good Samaritans who stopped to help rush to the scene, they managed to pull Juanita from the sinking vehicle, finding her unconscious and not breathing. Thanks to their swift actions and CPR efforts, Juanita was revived. After spending 3 weeks on a ventilator, she is now breathing on her own. A more remarkable recovery. Her sister shared that with local news outlets. Good work, Dwight. Stay conscious, folks. Stay aware. And here it is, the big story I've been waiting to share all week. And I'll tell you why. This happened right down the road from me, right around just this past Tuesday evening. Before we do, let's do another hero of the week. School and police officials have not released the name of the bus driver who, according to Aurora Fire and Rescue, saved 14 children from certain tragedy. While making a turn, the driver noticed smoke emerging through the dashboard. Without hesitation, he pulled the bus over and immediately assisted the children in evacuating. His calm and decisive actions ensured that everyone was safely off the bus before the fire could spread even further. Aurora Fire Rescue quickly extinguished the blaze, and their investigation revealed that the fire started in the engine compartment and was accidental. In a statement, Aurora Fire Rescue praised the bus driver, stating, quote, "The outcome of this incident could have been tragic, but the quick and effective actions of the bus driver and the firefighters were truly heroic." Aurora Public Schools also expressed their gratitude, saying, "We want to give our utmost thanks to our bus driver for his awareness and quick action. His response kept everyone safe. The safety of our students and our staff is our highest priority." Dear sir, we may not live very far apart, and due to what various reasons your name is not being released to the public, but please know that we here consider you a hero, and you've made our hero of the week for this week, August 16th. Thanks for being with us, folks. I'm Dr. Robert. I'm getting out of here for now. Until next time, until next week, I wish you peace and blessings. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Pastor Michael Mangus, Reverend Michael, with the Fireside Chat. Until next time, I wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.